Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Amirun. I'm representing my group members to give an introduction on what we would like to present to you about the process. We, from the BMMW 2/1 class, had 4 group members including me. We will present to you starting with me, which is Amirun Hakim bin Fauzi, then Muhammad Nasrul Amir bin Zulkifli, followed by Nur Fazlina Izzati binti Khairul Azam, and lastly, Mutalagu anak laki Shanmugam. Thanks to our lecturer, technologist Dr. Hanizam Hashim, who has given encouragement and guidance during our time at UTM for this subject. For the title that we have chosen to explain is the process of making a spoon. Okay, now let's get started. What you will see being made is a dessert spoon. The material is sterling silver, which is 92.5% pure silver. It is hand forged all the way through. This blank will become a spoon. There is a book with all the weights set out. The starting weight is 30 troy ounces. The silver bar is cold forged and marked off. The short end become the bowl, the longer section become the handle. After cold forging, the silver is then annealed using a gas and air torch. When the color turns to a cherry red, the forger will carry it over in tongs to commence forging. Any hotter and hit by a hammer, the silver would disintegrate. He is shaping up, and you can see what looks like a spoon already. The secret of hand forging is when moving the silver around the anvil to keep the hammer bouncing off the anvil. This means that you are not having to lift the hammer from the bottom of the stroke and are partly thereby bouncing the hammer.
David, as he forged it out, compressed it to a copper pattern. Some of them are over 100 years old. As the silver is worked, it gets harder and harder. Subsequently, it requires annealing. Sometimes, for a dessert spoon, this could happen 3 times. He gradually lengthening the shank using the peel of the hammer. The peel is the narrow part of the hammer and stretch the silver quicker than using the full face. The advantage of hand forging is primarily to make sure that you have got the silver where you need it most. On a spoon, this is on the edge of the bowl and the point of the bowl. Here at the rest, David is putting in dice to create the tail or heel which goes on the back of the bowl. They use a hydraulic coining press. This now shows David after hammering out, comparing the size to the original template and making it out. He then trims off any silver overhanging the mark to get the spoon to the required size for the boiling punch we use later. We go on to the center of the handle. We then come on to the boiling process. The hammer is lifted off the bottom of the cup to enable the molten tin to be poured into the depth of the boiling punch.
When the tin solidifies, the punch has created a female and a male die. Here we see Kevin bend the spoon in the bottom of the shank near the bowl. Even though this process is done by hand, you should be able to put a dozen spoons perfectly inside each other. Following the setting of the spoon, Kevin will file the spoon with the ball uppermost. When you look at the spoon from back to front, it is as flat and straight as possible. This process is called striking off. After striking off, the spoon returns to the forge. Fire removed from the spoon and above before stamping the pattern. After stamping the pattern on the top end, the forger will remove the excess metal around the top to the size of the spoon. After cleaning the back of the spoon, they are sent to the assay office.
The assay office will test the quality of spoon to ensure it meets the standard to be called sterling silver. They will then put the hallmark on the back of the spoon to show customers it meets the required standard. Once the spoon comes back from the assay office with the hallmark, the fillers will shape up the handle and the back of the spoon. Then they bend the top end and it's ready for the buffing shop. The buffs are made of compressed wool. The substance is pumice, which is powdered volcanic ash mixed with the vegetable oil. The object of buffing is to aid the finishing shop by taking the materials down from a filled surface to a smooth surface. The piece then moves on to the finishing shop, which puts the bright shine that people associate with polished silver. As you can imagine, from a piece of bar to a finished spoon of this quality, the finishing has to be top class.
So, in conclusion, the hand forging process is labor intensive and requires the hand. Using a 5-pound hammer, we pounce a piece of sterling silver on a steel capped anvil until it's the same length and width as whatever template we're using. We use a die to forge a design on the tip of the handle. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. And see you guys on the next video. Bye bye.